Manila University, who are looking to consolidate second place here in the 75th season of the UAP Women's Volleyball Tournament at 7-3. And first set was probably tougher than what they would have wanted it to be at.
That's right. But you know, even if Ateneo found it a bit tougher, it still was a bit easy because, you know, the likes of Alyssa Valdez scoring 6 points in that first set, a bit lower than, you know, previously na sinasabi natin, first 2 sets, 21 points. But even so, kikita mo yung ibang attackers dito for Jem Ferrer also delivering the points.
I remember telling that story to someone when I said she scored 21 points in 2 sets. Siya lang bang naglaro? But 21 points.
That's a lot.
An amazing number for 2 sets. I mean, a lot of players graduate already and never get 21 points in a game. And right now, 13-5 the attacks, obviously. But you pointed out the errors of Ateneo earlier, Anne.
Well, there's 6 now here on the board, 3 for the Lady Maroon. So yun yung, I mean, it wasn't a bad set. They could have probably UP could have probably had a lower score if not for the errors also that was committed in the first set.
That's right. So again, as you mentioned, some things to still check for Ateneo going into sets number 2 and 3. They started to experiment also, putting a couple of players in. Coach Roger putting in Nakachi. Najima was set to come in also. For UP, let's look at UP, and what do they have to do?
Well, for UP, we mentioned, you know, in the pre-game how they had difficulties in, well, they are having difficulties in service and their reception. I think in terms of service, the first set wasn't as bad, but in terms of, or rather, service wasn't as bad, but the reception is something that they still need to work on. You know, really to, they have talented attackers. It's just really a matter of, you know, getting that play going for them.
Second set. Ateneo took the first set,
Phil
25-14.
To start us off here in the second set. Celebrated her birthday, as I mentioned, a couple of days ago. 1-0 for Ateneo, and a quick block on the joust. Valdez and Nakachi collaborating for that one.
Reception near the net.
It was Valdez all alone, who read it real well. Carvasio was there. Ferrer to Nakachi. Too high. Magtalas to Bersola with a dump ball, but it's too much of a dump.
And you saw it really,
Iba yung
nasa
direksyon.
hand talaga niya, no? Let's take a look at that again.
Tawagin na natin, dinakma. Yun, no?
Oh, may hawak.
Dinakma.
And when you drop a ball, meron niyang ano, you just have to tip it over.
Serving is Phil
You can't palm it. Ferrer sends it back. Magtalas. That's Ong. Gets the point. She was the one who top scored for them in that first meeting. Let's look at that set again. Nahuli si Jem. Of course, the weak link in terms of blocking would be the size disadvantage of Jem Ferrer. 1 serving 2. Penglet from the back row. Ong again. Sends it back. Ferrer. Joust. Bersola. Ooh! Nakachi got a little confused and just sends it over easily. They get a second chance here. Nakachi. Del Rosario to Ong. That's underneath the ball. The set was a little bit too close.
Point Ateneo.
It's that adjustment that UP needs at this point.
Let's check in with Bea Fabregas right now.
Boom and Ann, along with that calm tone came very encouraging words from Coach Gerald. Sabi nga niya, last week, ang focus lang natin, service and reception. Ang kailangan lang natin gawin today ay i-apply natin. Coach told his girls to never doubt themselves, even for a second, dahil madadamay talaga yung galaw pag wala silang tiwala sa sarili nila. For this set, ang concern ng Lady Maroons ay ang first ball, and they are planning a 4-man receive for a wider coverage for reception. Huwag muna isipin ang attack. Again, first ball muna. Boom and Ann.
Maraming salamat, Bea. At para dun sa mga yung kakapanood lang sa atin ngayon, bukas lang ng kanilang television sets, si Ana Del Mundo playing for UP, the sprain. And Look at this combination play to Z Hervasio to give them a 5-1 lead as we talk to Selena Dagdag right now.
At
Service
this point of the game, Coach
Ferrer.
Schalker instructs his Lady Eagles to execute their plays faster. He also reminds them to go for as much kills and as much blocks as they can. Lastly, he tells the team to lessen their errors. He believes their errors root from their spacing and their timing. That's why he reminds them to adjust accordingly. Boom and Ann.
Mag-rely tayo dun sa offense natin mangyayari. Pero magkakaroon tayo ng problem sa first ball. Bakit tayo mag-create ng offense natin? Diba? And isa pa, next. Nakita nyo na, obviously, nakita nyo nangyayari sa kabila. Okay? Kung anong gagawin, hindi naman pinapalo. Diba? Nag-off speed. And try natin mag-figure out para mag-create tayo kagad ng movement. Hindi pwede nanonood tayo lahat dyan. Diba? Tara, let's go!
Part of the learning process in volleyball is not just developing, plays and developing skills, but in the years that you play in college, and you know this very much, Anne, is that you also have to learn how to read opponents, their tendencies individually and as a team also.
Serving now with 3 points.
That's
is
right. Of
Ateneo
course,
Ferrer.
that's the best way for you to anticipate what the opponent will do. Otherwise, piesta yan for your for the opponent. And in this case, Ateneo, because ang dali for them basahin ang depensa ng UP, ang blocking ng UP. And they're definitely taking advantage of that.
That violation there. Conversely, going back to Selena's report earlier, ang gusto naman ni Coach Roger, especially now they have that opportunity, is to practice the faster plays that they don't get to execute, again, against the better blocking teams in the league.
And we haven't seen much of those plays except for that running attack that Valdez had here before this serve from Nakachi. Pero tama yun yung hinahanap natin. Kanina we saw Phil Kainglet in the first set.
right.
From being an outside hitter, yung play niya was going to the middle and it confused the blockers of UP.
Because again, if you know the players, you know that's not her tendency. So for her to change it up like that is good news for Ateneo, who are in the lead by 6.